Good morning from Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero with the overview of Chinese history. And today we're going to do Lesson 7. Lesson 7 centers on the contributions of the Ming Dynasty. The Ming Dynasty was an important dynasty in Chinese history for several reasons. The foremost, in my estimation, was the proliferation of written words. Nothing is more powerful than research and written words. So, what other contributions did the Ming make besides the printed word and the development of the printing press? Well, the Ming organized their military units because it required a great deal of military organization and cooperation to keep the Mongols out of China after the Yuan dynasty fell in the late 1300s. The Ming dynasty developed a strong military organization as well as finishing a major portion of the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China was initiated by the Qin dynasty, but the Ming dynasty did most of the work. The Ming dynasty was also responsible for developing new forms of herbal medicine and treating human conditions in various medical areas. The Ming were a very strict dynasty because they had to be. The previous dynasty, the Yuan dynasty, was the Mongols, and no one was stricter than the Mongols. So we had a shift in China from Buddhism, which was pushed forward by the Mongols to drive a wedge between Confucianism and the Chinese people, as well as Taoism to a certain extent. What the Ming dynasty did was remove that wedge and bring back the concentration of Confucianism in Chinese society and remove most of the Buddhist influence in Chinese society at that time. It was not a good time to be a Buddhist because Buddhism was associated with the Mongols, and no one wanted to be associated with the Mongols, so the movement became away from Buddhism and toward Confucianism and even native Taoism. Now, Taoism was split into two particular areas. You had the superstitious Taoism, which was very popular with the vast majority of Chinese population, but you also had the philosophical Taoism, which was popular for many of the more ascetic Chinese who believed in some of the aspects of Buddhism and some of the aspects of Taoism, but they did not believe in the religious aspects. To put it mildly, religion was frowned upon during the Ming Dynasty. After the Ming Dynasty, you're going to have a transition to the Qing Dynasty, and we will study that in our next lesson, Lesson 8. But let's focus a little bit more on what were the results of the Ming Dynasty. The Ming Dynasty allowed the Chinese people to regain their national identity. The Mongols and the Yuan Dynasty did not represent the traditional Chinese identity. They were foreigners. They were from Mongolia. They were from the north. They were barbarians, according to the Chinese. But in reality, the Yuan were not barbarians. They were quite sophisticated, and they actually had a superior economic sensibility with the Asian trade routes of the Silk Road. The Chinese were traditionally xenophobic for several hundreds of years, even thousands of years, and it was the Yuan dynasty, the Mongol dynasty, that broke them out of that shell. And now the Ming said, this is not such a bad idea. let's take the best that the Yuan dynasty has to offer and expand on these Asian trade routes. Let's expand on the Silk Road. And to that effect, they developed a navy with their famous admiral, and they were able to reach out to other countries in the Asian theater for purposes of trade. China was never a great expansionist country, but it always was interested in expanding trade and making money. And that has existed to this very day. The Belt and Road Initiative is nothing more than a codification of the Asian trade routes. And the modern Chinese Navy is nothing more than the extension of the Ming Dynasty Navy, which allowed trade to exist in this Asian theater. So we can see the modern motivations of the current Chinese government are quite similar to the motivations of the Ming Dynasty, and studying both dynasties will be useful to you to understand why China has certain policies in economics. So until next time, this is Professor Tefero from Port St. Lucie, Florida, wishing you all a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you next time for Lesson 8. Bye-bye.